Maya Thompson arrived at the bustling airport, pulling her sleek carry-on bag behind her. She was dressed in a tailored suit, the picture of elegance and confidence. As the CEO of a fast-growing tech company, she was used to traveling first class, attending high-stakes meetings, and making decisions that impacted thousands of employees. Today, she was heading to an important business summit where she planned to meet potential investors for her next big venture. Her assistant, Zoe, had booked everything meticulously. Maya had a first-class ticket and access to the exclusive VIP lounge, a perk she often used to relax before flights. As she approached the lounge entrance, she noticed the calm luxury of the space: plush seating, soft lighting, and a serene atmosphere that promised a brief escape from the chaos of the airport. Maya stepped up to the desk, handing over her lounge pass and ticket with a polite smile. The receptionist, a middle-aged man in a crisp uniform, barely glanced up. "Can I help you?" he asked, his tone clipped and indifferent. "Yes," Maya replied calmly. "I'd like to access the lounge." The man took the ticket and pass from her, scanning them quickly. Then he looked at Maya, his expression shifting slightly. There was a moment of hesitation, a pause that felt heavier than it should have. "I'm sorry," he said finally, his voice lacking warmth, "but this lounge is for first-class passengers only." Maya blinked, confused. "I am a first-class passenger," she replied, her voice steady. "That's why I have this pass." The man glanced at her ticket again, then at her. His smile was forced, almost condescending. "I'm afraid there must be some mistake," he said. "We have very strict policies here." Maya felt the heat rise in her chest. "There's no mistake," she said firmly, pulling out her ID and confirmation email. "Everything is in order." The man's tone grew colder. "I'll have to ask you to step aside, ma'am. We can't allow access unless everything checks out." Behind her, Maya could feel the eyes of other travelers. Some looked on with curiosity, others with judgment. The humiliation was sharp, but she refused to let it show. Years of experience had taught her how to keep her composure, even in moments like this. "May I speak to a supervisor?" she asked calmly. The man hesitated again, then shook his head. "There's no need for that. I'm telling you this is not the right place for you." Maya paused, taking a deep breath. She could feel the weight of the moment, the unfairness of it all. But instead of arguing further, she nodded politely. "Thank you," she said simply, taking back her ticket and pass. As she walked away, her mind was racing. She had faced moments like this before, moments where people underestimated her, judged her, or dismissed her based on assumptions. Each time, she had turned those moments into fuel for her success. Sitting at her gate, waiting to board her flight, Maya opened her laptop and began typing furiously. This wasn't just about being denied entry to a lounge. It was about something bigger. And Maya Thompson was not the type to let a moment like this pass without action. As Maya settled into her seat on the plane, she stared out of the window, her thoughts replaying the events at the airport. The humiliation, the dismissive tone of the receptionist, and the quiet stares of bystanders still lingered in her mind. It wasn't the first time she had faced something like this, but it didn't make it any easier. She leaned back, taking a deep breath, determined to channel her emotions into something productive. Maya's thoughts drifted to her past. Growing up in a modest neighborhood, life had not been easy. Her parents had worked tirelessly to provide for their family, instilling in her a strong sense of resilience and determination. She remembered the times when she was told she wouldn't succeed, that the odds were stacked against her because of where she came from and who she was. But those moments had only fueled her drive to prove them wrong. As a young girl, she dreamed of creating something meaningful, something that could change lives. She had worked her way through college with scholarships and part-time jobs, excelling in her studies despite the challenges. Over time, her hard work paid off. She founded her tech company from her small apartment, and through persistence and innovative ideas, it grew into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Yet despite her success, Moments like the one at the airport reminded her that prejudice and discrimination still existed in subtle and not so subtle forms. As the plane soared above the clouds, Maya pulled out her laptop and began jotting down notes. This incident wasn't just a personal slight. It was a symptom of a larger problem. A culture of exclusion in spaces that claimed to be elite. She knew she had the resources and the influence to challenge this. The question was how. Later, when the plane landed and she reached her hotel, Maya called her assistant, Zoe. Zoe had been with her since the early days of her company and was one of the few people she trusted implicitly. As Maya recounted the incident at the lounge, Zoe listened intently, her frustration growing with every detail. "That's unacceptable," Zoe said firmly. "How can they treat someone like that? They didn't even bother to check properly." Maya smiled at her assistant's fiery response. "It's not the first time, Zoe, and it won't be the last unless we do something about it." "What are you thinking?" Zoe asked, sensing that Maya had a plan brewing. Maya leaned back in her chair, her mind racing. "I want to know more about that airline. Who owns it? How it's performing? What its reputation is? If they think people like me don't belong in their VIP lounges, maybe it's time to change the game." Zoe's eyes lit up. "You're serious?" "Completely," Maya replied. "This isn't just about me. It's about creating spaces where everyone is treated with respect. And if that means taking control of the situation, then that's exactly what I'll do." Over the next few days, Maya began digging deeper into the airline. What she found surprised her. The company had been struggling financially for years, plagued by poor leadership and declining customer satisfaction. It was an opportunity waiting to be seized. And Maya, with her sharp business acumen and unyielding determination, was ready to take the first step. This wasn't just about making a statement. It was about making real change. Maya sat in her office, surrounded by her team of trusted advisors. Her desk was cluttered with reports, market analysis, and financial documents, all detailing the current state of the airline she had set her sights on. It had been a week since the incident at the airport, and she was more determined than ever to take action. This wasn't just about righting a wrong. It was about creating a lasting impact. "The numbers don't lie," Maya said, addressing her team. "The airline has been struggling for years. Customer satisfaction is at an all-time low, and their financials show they're barely breaking even. They're looking for investors, which means this is the perfect time to act." Her assistant, Zoe, leaned forward, excited. "If we can position ourselves as the solution to their problems, they'll have no choice but to listen." Maya nodded. "Exactly. But we need to approach this carefully. I don't want them to know it's me behind the offer, at least not yet. I want them to focus on the value we're bringing, not on who I am." One of her financial advisors, a sharp-eyed woman named Karen, spoke up. "We can create a holding company to handle the negotiations. That way, your identity stays hidden until the deal is finalized." "Perfect," Maya said. "Let's make it happen." Over the next few days, Maya's team worked tirelessly to gather more information about the airline. They studied its operations, its competitors, and its leadership structure. Maya herself dove into the details, her sharp mind picking apart every weakness and identifying opportunities for improvement. She wasn't just planning to buy the airline. She was planning to transform it. Late one evening, as the office lights dimmed and most of her team had gone home, Maya sat alone at her desk, reviewing a report on customer complaints. The feedback was disheartening: rude staff, delayed flights, poor service. It was clear the airline had lost its way. Maya's thoughts drifted back to her experience at the airport. The dismissive receptionist, the judgment in his eyes, the way he had made her feel like she didn't belong. She had the power to change that, not just for herself, but for every person who had ever felt unwelcome or undervalued. Her phone buzzed, breaking her train of thought. It was Zoe. "I've been thinking," Zoe said. "This isn't just about buying an airline. It's about setting a new standard. If you pull this off, you could change the entire industry." Maya smiled. That's the goal, Zoe. I want to create an airline that values people, every person, regardless of who they are or where they come from. And you will, Zoe replied confidently. We've got this. As the days turned into weeks, Maya's plan began to take shape. The holding company was established, and her team prepared a proposal that highlighted how they could revitalize the airline. The offer was bold but fair, designed to appeal to the struggling airline's board of directors. Maya felt a sense of purpose she hadn't felt in a long time. This was more than just a business deal. It was a chance to turn a moment of humiliation into a legacy of empowerment. And she wasn't going to stop until she succeeded. The negotiations had reached their final stage. After weeks of strategizing, meetings, and back-and-forth proposals, Maya's team had managed to position their offer as the best solution for the struggling airline. Everything was carefully planned. Her identity remained hidden, and the holding company handled all communications with the airline's board of directors. Maya was deliberately staying in the shadows until the deal was finalized, knowing that her influence would be most effective when the timing was right. Sitting in her office, Maya watched the sun dip below the skyline. It had been a long journey to get to this point, but she knew she was close. Her team had just sent the final offer, and now all they could do was wait. The proposal was bold, offering not just financial investment, but a clear plan for restructuring the airline. It included strategies for improving customer service, boosting employee morale, and restoring the company's reputation. Zoe entered the office with a fresh cup of coffee, her usual enthusiasm lighting up the room. The board is meeting tomorrow to review our proposal, she said, placing the coffee on Maya's desk. Karen says it looks promising. Maya took a sip, nodding thoughtfully. Good, but I won't celebrate until it's done. We've worked too hard to leave anything to chance. Zoe smiled. You're right, as always, but I can't help feeling excited. They have no idea what's coming. The next day, Maya's team gathered in the conference room, anxiously waiting for the call from the airline's board. The air was thick with anticipation as they went over every detail of the proposal one last time. When the call finally came, the room fell silent. Karen answered, putting the call on speaker. The voice on the other end was formal but cordial. After reviewing your proposal, the board has decided to accept your offer. Congratulations, you are now the majority stakeholder in the airline. The room erupted in quiet cheers, but Maya remained calm, a satisfied smile spreading across her face. Thank you, she said. We look forward to working with you to turn things around. After the call ended, Maya stood at the head of the table, addressing her team. This is a victory for all of us, but the real work begins now. We're not just here to own an airline. We're here to transform it. Her words were met with nods and applause, her team energized by her unwavering vision. They knew this wasn't just about profits or business as usual. It was about creating something meaningful, something that could inspire change far beyond the airline industry. Later that evening, as Maya walked through her home, she allowed herself a moment to reflect. She thought about the incident at the airport, the way she had been dismissed so easily. She had turned that painful moment into an opportunity to make a difference, and now she was on the verge of something extraordinary. But there was one more thing left to do. Maya wanted to visit the airport where it all began. She wasn't interested in confrontation. She wanted to send a message, one that would resonate far and wide. This wasn't just her victory. It was a step toward a world where everyone was treated with the respect they deserved. And Maya was ready to make that statement loud and clear. The morning was bright and crisp as Maya stepped into the airport terminal, her heels clicking softly against the polished floors. This time, her presence was different. She wasn't just a traveler, nor was she here to fight for access to a VIP lounge. Maya was here as the owner of the airline, a position that had taken months of strategy, determination, and relentless focus to achieve. She walked confidently through the terminal, accompanied by her assistant Zoe and a small group of key team members. People turned to look at her, some recognizing her as a powerful business figure, others simply drawn to her commanding aura. Maya was calm and poised, but inside, she felt a quiet sense of satisfaction. She had come full circle, back to the place where she was once dismissed, but this time she was here to rewrite the story. Her first stop was the VIP lounge, the site of the incident that had sparked her journey. The same receptionist who had denied her entry months ago was standing behind the desk. He glanced up, his expression shifting to confusion as he recognized her. Before he could speak, Maya approached the desk with a warm but professional smile. "Good morning," she said, her tone polite yet firm. "I believe we've met before." The man's face flushed with embarrassment as he stammered. Yes, I think so. I'm Maya Thompson," she continued, "and as of last week, I'm the new owner of this airline." The man froze, his mouth opening and closing as he struggled to find words. The other staff members at the desk exchanged wide-eyed looks, clearly stunned by the revelation. Maya let the moment sink in before speaking again. "I want to make something clear," she said, her voice steady but kind. "This lounge, and this airline, is no longer a place where anyone will feel excluded or unwelcome. Every passenger, regardless of their background, will be treated with respect and dignity. And that starts today." The receptionist nodded quickly, his demeanor a mix of discomfort and realization. "Of course, ma'am," he said. "Thank you for letting us know." Maya smiled again, this time with a touch of warmth. "Thank you. I look forward to seeing how you contribute to this new chapter." She left the lounge and made her way to a scheduled meeting with the airport's leadership team. There, she outlined her vision for the airline's transformation, emphasizing the importance of customer experience, employee satisfaction, and inclusivity. Her words were met with nods of agreement and admiration. Even those who had been skeptical of her plans couldn't help but be inspired by her clarity and passion. As the day went on, Maya walked through the terminal, meeting employees and listening to their thoughts and concerns. She stopped to speak with flight attendants, baggage handlers, and gate agents, ensuring that every voice was heard. Each interaction reinforced her belief that change wasn't just about policies or profits, it was about people. By the time Maya left the airport that evening, she felt a deep sense of accomplishment. She hadn't just taken control of an airline. She had begun to change its culture from the ground up. And as she stepped outside into the cool evening air, she knew this was only the beginning. Maya's journey was far from over, but she was ready for whatever came next. In the weeks following her visit to the airport, Maya Thompson got straight to work. Owning an airline was only the first step. Transforming it was the real challenge. Her vision wasn't just about turning a profit. She wanted to create an airline that set new standards for inclusivity, professionalism, and customer experience. It wasn't an easy task, but Maya had never been afraid of hard work. Her first move was to address the airline's culture. Maya believed that a business's success started with its employees. She scheduled meetings with representatives from every department, from pilots to ground staff, to hear their perspectives. Many of them were surprised and impressed that the new owner wanted to hear their voices. During one of these meetings, a flight attendant named Carla spoke up. "It feels like the staff hasn't been valued for a long time," she said. "We're expected to give our best, but we haven't been given the support we need to succeed." Maya nodded thoughtfully. "I hear you," she said, "and I want to change that. This isn't just about improving the airline for passengers. It's about creating a workplace where all of you feel respected and empowered." She quickly introduced initiatives to make good on her promises. Employees underwent comprehensive training programs focused on customer service, empathy, and teamwork. At the same time, Maya rolled out new benefits, including better pay structures, mental health support, and professional development opportunities. These changes didn't just boost morale. They started to rebuild trust between the employees and leadership. Next, Maya turned her attention to the passenger experience. She personally reviewed feedback from customers, identifying common complaints and areas for improvement. Delayed flights, rude service, and outdated amenities were frequent issues. Maya acted swiftly, implementing new systems to streamline operations and investing in upgraded seating, entertainment, and dining options. She also launched a campaign to rebrand the airline's image. The new motto, "Everyone belongs in the sky," was featured in advertisements and on social media, signaling a fresh start for the company. Maya made sure the message wasn't just words, it was backed by action. Policies were updated to ensure every passenger, regardless of their background, was treated with equal respect. One afternoon, Maya visited the airline's main call center. She observed as employees answered questions and handled complaints with a newfound sense of professionalism and care. Maya noticed one particular representative, a young woman named Sarah, going above and beyond to help an elderly passenger with a complicated booking issue. After the call ended, Maya approached Sarah. "That was impressive," she said with a smile. "You showed patience and kindness, and that makes all the difference." Sarah beamed. "Thank you, Ms. Thompson. It means a lot to hear that." As Maya walked out of the call center, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The airline was changing, not just on the surface, but in its heart. Employees were motivated, passengers were noticing the improvements, and the company's reputation was beginning to recover. Still, Maya knew the work wasn't finished. Change took time, and there would be challenges ahead. But as she watched a plane taxiing on the runway, its sleek exterior gleaming in the sunlight, she felt hopeful. This wasn't just about fixing an airline. It was about building something new. And Maya was ready to see it soar. The transformation of the airline was in full swing, and the results were beginning to show. Customer reviews were becoming more positive, employees were more engaged, and the airline's reputation was steadily improving. Maya Thompson had poured her heart into reshaping the company, and now she was seeing the impact of her vision. One day, Maya sat in her office reviewing a report from the airline's operations team. Flight delays were down, passenger satisfaction scores were up, and ticket sales were steadily increasing. Yet Maya wasn't one to rest on her laurels. "There's always more we can do," she thought to herself. Her phone buzzed. It was Zoe, her assistant. "Maya, there's a young man here from the baggage handling team. He asked to speak with you directly. Says it's important." Maya smiled. "Send him in." A few moments later, a nervous but determined employee walked into her office. "Miss Thompson, my name is Louis. I work in baggage handling," he said, his hands fidgeting slightly. "Nice to meet you, Louis," Maya said warmly. "What's on your mind?" Louis took a deep breath. "First, I want to thank you for all the changes you've made. It feels different, better. But I also wanted to share an idea. I think we could improve how we handle baggage, especially during busy times. I've noticed some inefficiencies that slow things down, and I think we could fix them." Maya leaned forward, her interest piqued. "Tell me more." Louis explained his observations and proposed a new system for organizing luggage to speed up the process and reduce errors. Maya listened intently, taking notes as he spoke. When he finished, she smiled. "That's a fantastic idea, Louis. I appreciate you bringing this to me. Let's set up a meeting with your team to explore this further." Louis looked relieved and proud. "Thank you, Ms. Thompson. It means a lot that you're willing to listen." After Louis left, Maya reflected on the moment. This was exactly the kind of culture she wanted to build, one where every employee felt empowered to contribute and where good ideas could come from anyone, regardless of their position. Later that week, Maya attended a company-wide event held at the airline's headquarters. Employees from every department gathered in the spacious hangar, where a stage had been set up for the occasion. The atmosphere was buzzing with excitement as Maya took the stage. "Good afternoon, everyone," she began, her voice clear and steady. "Today, I want to talk about what we've accomplished together. Over the past few months, we've worked hard to create something special, not just an airline, but a community. Every single one of you has played a role in this transformation, and I want you to know how much I appreciate your dedication. The crowd erupted in applause, and Maya waited for the noise to die down before continuing. But this is just the beginning. Our journey isn't over. We will continue to grow, improve, and set new standards for what an airline can be. And we'll do it together. As she stepped off the stage, employees lined up to shake her hand and thank her. Maya felt a swell of pride, not just for what she had achieved, but for the people she had inspired. She knew the airline was more than just a business. It was a symbol of what was possible when vision, determination, and collaboration came together. That evening, as she watched a plane take off into the twilight sky, Maya felt an overwhelming sense of fulfillment. The work wasn't done, but the foundation was strong. The airline wasn't just soaring. It was flying toward a brighter, better future. Months had passed since Maya Thompson became the owner of the airline, and the transformation was undeniable. The company had gone from being a struggling business to a thriving enterprise, celebrated for its inclusivity, exceptional service, and employee satisfaction. The journey had been anything but easy, but Maya's determination and vision had carried the airline to new heights. On a bright morning, Maya arrived at the airport for a special occasion. Today marked the grand reopening of the VIP lounge, now redesigned to reflect the airline's new values. The lounge was no longer just a luxury space. It was a symbol of respect, equality, and progress. The media was present, along with employees and passengers, all eager to witness the culmination of months of hard work. As Maya entered the lounge, she paused to take in the changes. The space was warm and inviting, with modern furnishings and an atmosphere of comfort and elegance. A plaque near the entrance displayed the airline's new motto, "Everyone belongs in the sky." Maya stepped forward to address the gathered crowd. Cameras flashed as she began to speak. "Thank you all for being here today," she said, her voice steady and heartfelt. "This lounge and this airline are more than just places where people travel. They are spaces where people connect, dream, and build their futures. And everyone, every single person, deserves to feel valued and welcome here." The crowd broke into applause, but Maya wasn't finished. This journey has been about more than just business. It's been about proving that change is possible, that inclusion isn't just an idea, it's a practice. And I want to thank every one of you, our employees, our passengers, and our supporters, for believing in this vision. As the event continued, Maya took the time to meet with employees and passengers, listening to their thoughts and sharing stories of the airline's transformation. One young woman, a flight attendant named Grace, approached Maya with tears in her eyes. "Miss Thompson, I just want to say thank you," she said. "Before you came, I wasn't sure how much longer I could stay in this job. But now, I'm proud to be part of this airline. You've changed everything." Maya smiled warmly, placing a reassuring hand on Grace's shoulder. "You're the reason we've come this far," she said. "People like you, who show up every day with dedication and kindness. You're what makes this airline special." As the event wound down, Maya stepped outside to watch the planes taking off and landing. Each one represented a journey, a story, a possibility. She thought back to the day she had been turned away from the VIP lounge, the sting of that moment, and how it had sparked something greater within her. That day had been a turning point, not just for her, but for everyone who would benefit from the changes she had made. Maya's heart swelled with pride. She had taken a moment of exclusion and turned it into a legacy of empowerment. The airline wasn't just a business anymore. It was a beacon of what could be achieved when vision and resilience met opportunity. As she watched a plane disappear into the clouds, Maya smiled to herself. This was only the beginning.